So, before the video officially starts, I need to say I'm sorry this took almost 9 months to make. Should it have taken 9 months? Hell no. Even if you account for the times I had mental breakdowns, times I got sick, the fire I was dealing with, no, it should not have taken 9 months. It should have taken 3 at most, but oh well. Actually, no, not oh well. I should have. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this short so we can get straight to the video. But if you want to skip, my apology. Just skip ahead in the chapter. But I need to say, I'm I'm sorry. I even finished the video twice, and both times they were like 5 or 6 hours long, very bloated. And also, something I didn't realize until I did this attempt with using a live stream as the basis for the video, apparently full of a lot of wrong information. So, yeah, no. It should not have taken this long. And also, if I did upload the other two videos, I would also have to still say sorry because they would have been filled with information that would have, I think in like the first version probably would have shown the contradiction, so people would have known if they were paying attention that I was spelling out bullshit, but the second one, no, no, because I didn't do as well in the second one as the first. Good thing that one got corrupted. Um, yeah, I don't need to go into details about those right now. It's just I I said I would have done this year, and yeah, whoop-de-doo, I'm doing this before Christmas. But it's just like, this should have been done so much sooner. This should have been uploaded so much sooner. I said I would do this, and I took way too long, and I'm sorry about that, but I hope next time I make a promise like this, I don't take so damn long. I, I am truly sorry. And I hope this hopefully short, accurate, helpful video, assuming it's all of those things, will help you not only have an easier time in Dark Souls 3, but will also hopefully, but most likely won't, make up for the fact that this took way too long to make. Anywho, let the actual video begin, and once again, I'm sorry this took so long. So, you decided to watch a tutorial on Dark Souls 3, eh? Maybe it's because you're having a difficult time on your first playthrough. Maybe it's because, like most people, you have no idea how to play on keyboard and mouse. The game isn't gonna tell you. Or maybe you do know what you're doing, and you're just trying to make sure that you know as much as possible so you can get the most bang for your buck. Well, whatever the case may be, I'm D-Tone the First, and I'm here to make this slightly easier for you. So welcome to Anyway, let's go ahead and start the tutorial part! Hooray! Yippee!
Can't you tell I'm very tired because I can't get a full night of sleep for some reason?
Okay, so two things. One, you may be wondering what the hell I was just talking about. Well, it's quite simple. That's from audio from a live stream I did to get this footage. That was done at 6 in the morning on a night I didn't get any sleep. And two, the audio will be shifting between me doing voiceovers and the audio from the stream from where I see fit. Okay, that should be it.
Time to regurgitate the thing I have been saying into my microphone for the past... however many months has it been? Has it been 7, 8, 9? I don't remember.
Okay, let's actually get this next part really quick because it ultimately doesn't matter in the long run. The only thing that you really need to focus on for anything other than enjoyment factor is class and burial gifts. Class is making it to where it just depends on starting starting gear. You'll be able to adjust those however you want once you get through the game. So they ultimately don't matter. But if it's your first time through, Knight would be the easiest. High Romancer would be the second easiest. But I'm going to Pride because I'm a sadist. And then there's burial gifts. The burial gifts, well, you'll be able to find all the items for the burial gifts at some point later on down the game. But if you want to have an easier time at the very beginning, I would recommend either the Ring of Life or the Black Fire Bombs.
It'll be so boring for the first 10 minutes for everyone, but let's move into the more exciting bit. Yeah! We're gonna be talking about combat! We're gonna be talking about magic! I'm going to have to be swapping over to my other character if we're gonna talk about magic. I am not going through this game. This game has to deprive the entire way just to collect everything. I want to avoid spoiling this for new people, even though this game is how many years old? I don't remember having a six-pack, but you know what? It's fine. I'll be muscular. So, there's a reason I decided I wanted to start off on keyboard and mouse before I swapped over to controller. And here's why. Now, you can see, keyboard and mouse. I don't know how clear it is, but 4 directional button pushes. My controller is not plugged in. But you see, it's saying push A to read message. Despite the fact that I'm on PC and no controller is plugged in, Dark Souls really wants you to play with the controller. Alright, if you want to learn how to play this game on the controller, I mean on keyboard and mouse, because the game won't tell you, just hit escape, go over to the cogwheel with the mouse, and... whoops. Hold on. And just go over to this in the settings and click keybinds. Then you'll be able to see 1 does 1 on keyboard and mouse. So don't worry, you will still be able to figure out how to do everything. It's just taking a little bit of an extra step.
Hey, if you want to know how rare an item is, look on the signs of the glowing white orbs. The bigger they are, the more rare it is. There we go, now we can talk about combat!
There's just some stuff I'm gonna get out of the way. Yeah, you can block with the shield, you can two-hand a weapon, or push wide to two-hand whatever in your right hand, hold wide to two-hand whatever in your left hand. Even though this is a shield, you can attack with the shield. And you can block with your weapon. It just has to be, you either just have to two-hand it. Oh, wrong button. You either have to two-hand it, or just have it be in your left hand. You got a light attack, you got a strong attack. Whoops. Light attacks are just like that. You can either tap or hold, it would still do the same. Heavy attacks, you can either tap or hold. It'll take a little longer to attack, but it is very much worth it because you'll do more damage. You can roll, you'll use up the green bar. The green bar is your stamina. If you run out of stamina, you can't do anything. So, try not to run out of stamina. Red bar to health, don't run out of the red bar. Blue bar, that's something we're going to get into in a bit while fighting the boss. But for now, let's just say it lets you do extra stuff. Let's talk about backstabs. Or in this case, back pounding. You want to do extra damage? You want to make it to where you can kill stuff faster? Oh, that sounded like it bugged out for a moment. Then I have the thing for you. get behind the enemy, and then watch as they... watch as they... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, I did not mean... Oh, okay, I had to do it with this. Nope. There we go! Got it! I should not have done that with my pure fist, but okay. That is a riposte! If an enemy is blocking with a shield and you break the guard, or if you parry the attack, which can be done either with, well, a shield that isn't made out of 3 planks of wood, or your bare hands, or a weapon that has the parry weapon art, which I'll get into what weapon arts are in a bit, you can just smack that weapon and then just clobber them. Ah, it is glorious when you pull it off. But I am really bad at that, so I'm surprised that did not take me 3 hours to do.
So, something that I forgot to talk about during this stream is when it comes to the parry, the majority of the animation doesn't actually do the parry. The actual parry part happens like sometime before the middle of the animation. So the way you could think about the parry is the wind up, the actual parry itself, and then the cooldown. So it takes place somewhere before the middle of the animation. And I'm not sure how long it actually lasts. I think it might be anywhere from like 2 to 4 frames. I could be wrong though. Yeah, that's just something to keep in mind so that way you can actually nail down parrying easier, because otherwise you're just gonna get hit a lot. Oh, and actually, speaking of getting hit, if you get hit during mid-animation, you take extra damage. It's called being critically hit. And this also applies to anything you hit that's in mid-animation. So, take advantage of it. Hey, ignore the fact that I'm wearing a completely different outfit. Did you know that there's a thing called overkill, to where if you kill an enemy that's at full health with more damage than they do have health, you'll be able to gain a small bonus in the amount of souls? It's true! Just do 10% more damage than they have health, and then boom! As long as it's in one shot, you'll end up getting more souls! And you might be asking, what are souls? Well, I'll be happy to tell you all about souls, because I completely forgot to do that earlier. Souls are the currency in the Dark Souls games. So they allow you to buy stuff, like gear, or repair your gear, or allow you to level up, so that way you can have really, really long bars. They're long.
Oh, and you can log on to enemies. It makes it really useful when you don't want to miss. Okay, yeah, log on. Funny thing about the log on, you can log on even if it's mid-attack. The problem is, you do less damage. How much less damage? A whole dangerously whopping 1 less damage, no matter what weapon you're using. Yep, that's it. Just 1 damage.
Also, you only do less damage if you lock onto a mid-attack, otherwise you'll do the same amount of damage you would otherwise.
Now, here's the part where I talk about cheesing enemies. And also rolling into... Ooh, I fucked up. Rolling into them to avoid the danger. Depending on what the attack is, you could actually roll into... Oh! Yeah, like that. You can roll into them to not take any damage. It's usually best to try to roll into them and go into the side, so that way you can avoid the damage and... hit them, like so. But with this guy, we're not going to be doing that. What we're going to be doing is, we're gonna do a little tricky. We're gonna do a little, oh, no, you get back here. You chase me too. Come on. Okay, come on. You can do it. 1 more roll. I swear to God, if you don't roll over here. Come on, 1 more roll. One more roll. That is ice breath. That isn't rolling. Come on, give me a rock and roll song. There we go. There we go. Now, if this was any other Dark Souls game and you did that, you would have just lost that item. But luckily, this is Dark Souls 3. They just teleport the items into your inventory. As long as it was a mini-boss like that guy was.
I'm gonna try to keep this brief, because apparently if I try to go into detail, I end up talking for 6 hours straight. So, Dark Souls really likes recycling, and they really like making it to whatever they recycle comes out stronger than before. And sometimes it comes out like looking a little bit differently. Maybe they're like making a compost bin, trying to recycle some blueberries, and they come out as oranges. Just sometimes things are changed up a bit. They're usually the same though. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, and this is for the part for people that played Elden Ring. You can walk, you can run, you can jump, but you can only jump if you're running. I fucked up the jump, are you kidding me? Run! And jump! I'm sorry, what? Okay, let's try this again. Because the jump is pathetic and you... Okay. One more time. Jump! Thank you! Now! Fall from great height? Or just up a slight incline? Do an attack mid-air. That way, you can cave in skulls easy. Ow, okay. Let's talk about poise. While we fight this boss, which is the reason I went with the prize, because the club will make this very clear. Also, depending on the boss, you can get some damage in. Oh! Oh, fuck! You can get some damage in early. Yep, it's a good thing I got healed. And we knocked him down because we ow! Did poise damage! Which is a lot easier with this club. Some weapons do a lot of damage, some weapons do poise damage. It's not a stone statue, he's actually covered in metal. Also, you're about to see every single boss in this game, and the reason we collected the black fire bombs, has 2 stages bare minimum. Every single boss. Oh shit. And when they enter this second stage, it can completely change what they're weak to and what they're strong to. Like the tutorial boss, Gundyrs becomes weak to fire in his second stage. Okay, so poise. It's different between the different Dark Souls games, and in this one, the player doesn't really have poise unless if they're using something special. In this game, they have hyper armor. When we knocked him down, that's because we broke the enemy's poise. The enemy's poise is actually pretty universal. They both have poise and hyper armor. And if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, it's quite simple. Poise is basically how much you can get hit, how much damage you can take before you start stumbling. Some weapons do more poise damage than health damage, so they can make them stumble without doing that much. The club being an example, even though it also does a lot of damage. And hyper armor is basically, if you're attacking, you have to take a specific amount of damage, which is usually a lot, in order to stop your attack. Though, this does depend on multiple factors like what level you are, your defenses, all that stuff. And also what weapon you're using to attack with. Anywho, also, whenever you beat a boss, and this goes for all bosses, there will be a bonfire that spawns in the arena so you can teleport back there at any time.
That's right, the bonfire allows teleportation. It also completely restores all your health, completely restores the blue bars, resets all enemies on the map so that way you can kill them over and over and over again. Repairs all your gear. Yes, your gear has durability. Your weapon and armor can break, but as long as the durability is above 0, the bonfire will always be able to repair it all the way to the top. There's also an item storage, so that way you can take something that you don't need at the moment, put it in the box, and then pull it out when you need it later. It also lets you swap around what magic spells you have, so that way you can always have the magic that you want at the tip of your fingers. It also completely restores your flask! Man, too bad you can't use everything that the bonfire offers until you kill the main boss, go through these doors, go up these stairs, go through here, go down these stairs, and then plant the sword right where this bowl is, so that way you can have the full power of the bonfire. Too bad you have to do all of that before you can do Oh wait, the flask! I haven't talked about them yet. Now, when it comes to the flask, it's actually pretty straightforward. You got your Essen flask, also known as Sunny D, that restores your health. You have the Ashen Estus flask, also known as the Blue Gatorade, which restores your blue bar, also known as the Magic Bar. It's technically called the Focus Bar, but no one ever calls it that. Though you may have noticed at the beginning of the game, you don't have that many charges for the flask, and they don't really recover that much. And that's for a very simple reason. They're upgradable. Now, if you want to have more charges for your flask, you need Estus shards. But if you want the charges themselves to be stronger, you need Undead Bone shards. And you can apply both buffs. You don't have to pick one or the other, but you can only apply the buffs in certain locations. For the Undead Bone Shards, you need to go to the bonfire that you made in order for its bonuses to apply. And for the Estus Shards of bonuses to apply, you need to go to the old man with the hammer in the back and then simply ask him to reinforce your flask. Though whenever you get a new charge by default, it will go to the Sunny D. But if you want to go to the Blue Gatorade, all you have to do is ask him to allot the SS, and then you can swap the charges around however you want. And in case if you're wondering, yes, that means you can have all your charges be in one flask and not the other. Now, the old man can do more than just upgrade your flasks, but if we're going to talk about him, we need to talk about the entire Firelink Shrine. Okay, so when it comes to the Firekeeper Shrine, there's actually quite a bit that's going on. There are characters that are coming and going as they please, that are quests that you can actually complete, or absolutely fail, because it's not really clear where you need to go, what to do. There are characters that are here permanently, that are willing to help you out by offering their goods and services for a price. And there's a nest on the roof to where you can talk to an invisible bird that is willing to trade items with you. But this guy is really picky, and once you give him an item that he wants, he won't take any more of that item, so he can only trade one thing that he wants at a time, and only one of that item before you have to give him something else. But enough about that. Let's focus on the four most important characters here, starting with Andre the Blacksmith, because we were talking about him earlier. So yeah, Andre is all about upgrading your stuff. Through reinforcing your weapon, he'll make it to where your sword or your wooden club will do more damage, as long as you have the right material and enough souls. Pretty straightforward, and not confusing to explain at all. And then there's infused weapons. The thing to it's quite simple, also kinda straightforward, but very difficult to explain properly for me. So, like reinforced weapons, you need the right material in order to apply the infusions. And the infusions kinda do a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of different infusions. They all basically add like a new flavor of damage to whatever weapon you're applying the infusion to, but some of them do more than that. And if I try to provide an example, I might accidentally spoil this game because I'm so used to having them all unlocked, I can't remember which ones were early game and which ones were late game. So I'm gonna not risk spoiling just yet, but I will tell you how you'll be able to unlock all the infusions. So there's coal hidden throughout the world. There are different kinds of coal, and each one will allow Andre to apply a different flavor of infusion to your weapons. Some of them are just straight up better versions of early infusions that you might have right off the bat. And some do some stuff passively that I can't say what though, because I'm pretty sure they're endgame infusions, so yeah, just have the right materials for the upgrades or infusions that you need, make sure to have plenty of souls, and Andre will be happy to help. He can also just straight up repair your equipment, which isn't really necessary, unless if you're using one of my favorite weapons, you're probably never gonna break any of your weapons, because the bonfire repairs your gear every time you rest at them, so yeah. Now, since we talked about the guy that makes your gear stronger, let's talk about the lady that makes you stronger. This is the Firekeeper. Her main deal is that she allows you to convert your souls into levels. But there are some things that you can gather for her that will allow her to do more stuff. I won't say what the other stuff does, but I will tell you that one of the things that you need so she can do more than just level you up is somewhere in the tutorial level. You just gotta figure out how to get to it. And now for one of my favorite characters, the Handmaid. She's basically a store. Now, her stock is limited at first, but unless if you see a number next to that item, whatever she's selling, she sells an unlimited amount of. And as you go through the game, you can collect a certain little item to upgrade her shop. And what is this item that you might be wondering? Undead Ash. By finding corpses throughout the world, you have a chance to find the one that has some undead ash on them, and then you can give them to this nice sweet old lady so she can turn their ashes into more stuff for you to buy. Oh, and as you're beating bosses in this game, she might sell you some of their armor. And now, lastly, but not least, the tiny little king. He may look pale and sickly, and you can't do anything with him yet, but early in the game, you'll be able to find an object that if you give it to him, he'll be able to give you unique weapons that you can only get by defeating bosses. Unfortunately, and this will be the only spoiler I'm willing to give, you have to beat a minimum of 2 more bosses after you get to him in order to get this ability. And why do I say a minimum of 2 bosses? Because one of the bosses you have to defeat is an optional boss that is very easy to miss. So if you're like me and the first time you played this game blind, you might defeat the majority of this game without realizing where you need to go in order to get all these unique weapons. Ah, it hurts so much. Okay, so that's everything I'm going to cover when it comes to the Firelink Shrine. So let's move on to something I mentioned earlier but didn't actually talk about. Weapon scaling and weapon arts. And what do stats do? And okay, there's actually quite a few things I need to cover. We'll start off with weapon arts. They're pretty straightforward. Use a little bit of magic bar, use a little bit of stamina, and depending on the weapon art, maybe use a light attack, maybe use a heavy attack, and then you'll get to do some extra stuff. Now, if you want to know what weapon art a weapon has without having to, test it yourself, or you just want to know what the name of your weapon art is, so that way if you find another weapon with the same weapon art, you'll know what it will do. All you have to do is go into your inventory, look at the bottom of the screen, and it will tell you what the bottom prompt is to check item info. There'll be multiple pages that you'll go through. It'll be on the page where it says weapon scaling at the bottom. This will also tell you the name of the weapon skill and give a brief description of what it does at the bottom. And of course, I forgot to record me doing this very simple thing. Wait a minute. Oh crud, I didn't do it for the weapon scaling either. And I uninstalled the game. Oh, son of a bitch! So, when it comes to weapon scaling, there are 4 stats that affect weapon scaling. For the physical parts, that would be strength and dexterity. But for the magic parts, that would be intelligence and fate. Now, with the example here of this short sword, it has no magic in it whatsoever. So, therefore, it has no scaling and no requirements for intelligence and fate. But because, it's still a sword, it does have requirements for strength and dexterity. Now, when it comes to the requirements, you need to make sure that you meet the bare minimum. Because if you don't, well, you get a damage reduction so bad that punching might be a better solution at times, and by default, punching does 1 damage. But there is a point to where the game is willing to throw you a bone, and if you two-hand the weapon, it'll treat it like you have the bare minimum requirements. But you have to be basically 1 or 2 points short from the bare minimum requirements for that to work. So that is something that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so when it comes to the actual scaling part of weapon scaling, that's depicted by the letter grades, with D being one of the worst and A being one of the best. Now, with the short sword, it has better scaling with dexterity than strength, which means if I made it to where I had 50 dexterity, it would do more damage than if I had 50 strength. Don't get me wrong, it will still get stronger if you put points into strength, but it won't gain as much strength as it would with dexterity. Okay, so we covered everything when it comes to weapon scaling, so now let's talk about the player's stats. Yeah, this is what you're going to be seeing every time you go to the level up screen. Now, real quick, with the resistances, there's more than 4, but for some reason they just don't show up whenever you level up. And also, I'm going to be calling them and the defenses, because resistances is really difficult for me to say with the speech impediment. And also, real quick, the physical defenses, they're misleading. There's 4 kinds of them, not 3. Physical damage is the most common type of damage in this game. There is strike, there is slash, there is thrust, and I don't know why it's set up like this to make it seem like they're all the same thing. They're not. This is a mistake they made in the first game and fixed in the second. Then repeat it in the third! Also, as your level goes up, all your defenses will go up in general, but leveling up specific attributes will make some go up faster than others. Like strength will make fire go up faster, and faith will make dark go up faster. Now for the individual attributes. Vigor is just your health, atonement is the magic bar and also how many spells you can have equipped, endurance is just your stamina, vitality affects your equip load, and your equip load is just basically how heavy kind of armor you can wear and how heavy the weapons you can wield are. And by a weird side effect, it also affects your fall damage. Strength is how hard you hit something with a sword, dexterity is how well you hold that sword when you hit someone with it, and also how fast you cast magic, and also how much fall damage you take, and okay, yeah, this thing does a lot. Intelligence. This affects your magic, magic. Yeah, there are 3 different kinds of magic. Yeah, I know there's 4 types of magic damage there, but there are 3 types of magic. We'll go over the extra one in a moment. It also increases the power of your pyromancy magic. Faith increases the power of your miracle magic, and also your pyromancy magic. Yeah, pyromancy scales with both intelligence and faith, and then there's luck. This just increases the chance of enemies dropping items. This is your item discovery one. Okay, we're almost at the end of the video. There's only 3 things left to talk about, so let's talk about them. Starting with the longest one to explain, magic. Now, when it comes to magic, there are 3 different kinds of magic. The intelligence-based magic, which specializes in utility, the faith-based miracle magic, which specializes in healing, and the intelligent faith-based magic of pyromancies, which specializes in damage. Now, I need to make this clear. All 3 forms of magic can do a type of damage, and they all have their own form of utility magic, but they do what they specialize in best. And in case if you're wondering, all 3 have dark magic spells, but in order to use the magic that you want to use, you have to have the right catalyst. Now, there are exceptions, but here's how it normally goes. If it's a staff, it's probably magic. If it's a bell or a talisman, it's probably miracles. And if your hand's a ball of fire, it's probably pyromancies. Okay, so that's everything when it comes to magic. Let's go ahead and talk about dying. Now, this is one of the most important details when it comes to Dark Souls, and it's near the end. Oh my god. Okay, so when it comes to dying, what happens is you lose all your souls, and you might start looking like jerky. But there is a way to collect your souls back. All you have to do is go to where you died, and then pick up a green glowing ball above a puddle of blood. Just be careful when trying to pick them up, because if you die again before picking them up, they're gone forever. And also, everything else that was dead comes back to life when you respawn, so yeah. Oh, and if you die due to fall damage, go to where you fell from, not where you landed. That's where the ball will be. Okay, and now for the last thing. Illusionary walls. Yeah, when you're exploring around the world, you might come across fake walls that, as long as you, the player, do something to damage them in some way, whether it be health damage or stagger damage, it don't matter. They'll reveal that they're fake, and then you can explore as much as you like. Though be warned, some invisible walls are in, dangerous locations. And that's it! We talked about everything that new players need to know when it comes to Dark Souls 3! And I can finally get this video uploaded. Oh my god. Thank you all for watching. I hope you were able to absorb all the information I had to dump down into your brains. And thank you for getting me to 100 subscribers. Oh, this only took 8 months. Oh god, that was way too long. Well, anyway, I have been D-Tone the First. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. And please enjoy your time in Dark Souls 3.